Belt is actually quite tricky. When it works, it can instantly elevate your outfit. But when it doesn't, it just makes you look like you're trying too hard. For example, a t-shirt dress. It goes straight up and down. This is most confusing. I thought it looked so plain, so maybe belt is a good idea. But when I do add a belt, yeah, this is one of those dresses where you actually look better without a belt. The reason? The dress fits snug. It's already hugging your curves, so it's not necessary to add a belt. Besides, because the dress is soft, unstructured fabrics, it's not that compatible with a belt, which is a quite structured piece. So you're actually better off without it. But if your t-shirt dress fits loose throughout, like this is when you are better off with a belt. If you just want a subtle waist definition, go with a belt that comes with the dress. Especially if your chest is bigger, cinching your waist will immediately make you look 10 pounds slimmer. But you don't have to just go with that belt. I like to get really creative. I like to try a different belt on this dress and always give you a different look. Now let's look at another type of dresses that can also be confusing. The sweater dresses. These are just like the t-shirt dresses. Most of them don't have much of waist definition, so it's very tempting to add one. But when I look at myself, I feel like something doesn't look quite right, but I couldn't figure out why. Now that I realized it's because the dress is short, so when I add the belt, it's actually dividing my body right in the middle. When your body is divided half and half, that's never the best proportion, and therefore I'm actually better off without a belt. Another outfit where I noticed the belt was working against me when the skirt is short and clingy. Because this is a pencil skirt, when it's short like this, adding a belt is bringing too much focus on my hips and my tummy as well. So I switched to a different skirt. Now you can see a pretty big difference. This skirt is just a tad longer, perhaps 1 or 2 inches longer, but the key difference is it's not a pencil skirt. This is an A-line shape. Because A-line flares out, it's not completely clinging to my bottom. This looks much more balanced. Are you thinking, well, gee, this sounds too complicated. Maybe I'm just better off skipping the belt altogether. But wait, here's when you actually gonna need a belt. This sweater skirt, I've had it for several years, but I wasn't wearing it. One of the reasons is because it got elastic waistband, which is really hard to look good with anything. It kind of makes you look frumpy. Because of that, I couldn't figure out how to make it look good until I tried it with a belt. Now you can see what a big difference. Adding a belt is adding a structure. Not only it covers the elastic waistband, but also it's at the right position, dividing my body into the most ideal body proportion. That means it's 1/3 on top and 2/3 at the bottom. Regardless of your height, one thing that is critical when you're styling a belt, you always want your belt to be sitting higher. And ideally, you want your belt to be higher than your natural waist. Your natural waist is the smallest part on your torso. Belt not only serves the function of making your waist look smaller, but it also sends a signal to the eye. This is where your waist starts. That is a very smart way to make sure your legs look longer and your torso looks shorter. These are from my clothing line for women 5'4" and under. Links are down below. Make sure you check them out at petitedressing.com. Here is something I do want to caution you. If you carry weight on your stomach, you do want to be more careful with a belt. And how do I know that? Because I carry weight on my stomach too. Even though I am overall skinny, I do have a very typical feature for the apple body shape. And that is, I always gain weight first on my stomach. And that is the reason for many years I didn't wear any belt because I just felt like they were making me feel self-conscious about my stomach. But here's the ways you can make it work even though you may have a midriff concern. The easiest way to do it is to match the belt with the color of your outfit. For example, if your outfit is black, you can go with a black belt, but make sure it has a different color buckle. For instance, any gold hardware can do it because this is going to tell the eye that you do have a waist. But at the same time, it's not going to bring extra attention to your waistline and making you feel self-conscious. Because of that, get a dress or jumpsuit that comes with a belt because it's always gonna match the color of the fabrics, and that's gonna make it so much easier for you to use a belt. If you do carry weight on your stomach, if you have a thicker waist, one thing you probably are better off without the skinny belt. These are really tricky and they're not for everybody. Especially if your skinny belt has a contrasting color with what you're wearing, then that's when it can really bring all the focus to your stomach. Not only that, because the skinny belt is so tiny, it's gonna make a very sharp contrast to your waistline, and that's when it's gonna make it more obvious. Another thing, I would highly recommend that you use a lot of caution, or perhaps you may just want to skip them. The paper bag. Paper bag anything has been a huge trend. They are very stylish, but they can also work against you, especially if your waist is thicker. Paper bag have extra fabrics and they're designed to bring focus to your waistline. So if you carry weight in your midriffs, you're gonna feel like everybody's noticing your waist, which is probably the truth. Besides adding a belt on top of the paper bag waist design, that's just adding too much bulkiness to your waist, which is already thicker. So think twice before you get another paper bag anything. We all know it's hard to use a belt, but one thing that makes it harder, if you're short. Yes, I am 5'2", so I know how difficult it is to wear just about anything when you are petite. For that reason, I started my own clothing line for women 5'4" and under, and I use the same concept I talked about today to make sure that we are optimizing our body proportion. If you are petite, make sure you check out my clothing line at petitedressing.com.